good, my beautiful people? Welcome. It's season 3. We are back inside the Black Actor Studio. I'm your host, Danny Royce. I missed y'all. We're back. It's so great to be back. So great to be black too, right? Inside the Black Actor Studio. Thank you for joining me, kicking off season 3. And I have an amazing guest for me today. You've seen him on A Tough Act to Follow, A Different Direction, I Live Here. He is a producer, a comedian, a director, an actor, a writer. He has been in the game for 20 plus years. You really can't talk about entertainment without mentioning Sampson McCormick. Please welcome. The Black Actor Studio is very proud to have Sampson McCormick. How are you, man?
Hey, Black Actor Studio. I'm
Hello.
good.
Hello, welcome. It has been a while, but we're back. We've been talking about having you on the show. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for taking the time to be here. And so I want to say first off, congratulations on Love the One You're With. You got it out. It just premiered this past weekend, Valentine's Day. Talk a little bit about that story and what inspired you to write that.
Thank you. So, all right. So even though I'm not one of those people who are heavy in astrology, I did a very soft, respectful premiere launch.
Very soft.
Very soft, because I'm not trying to enter, all respect to Mercury in retrograde. So after she's had her period, then we will gracefully begin to promote the film. But I will say, out of all the films that I've done, the response to it was the equivalent of it debuting at number 1. The response was tremendous. People are really excited about it. I think that it has the best cast in the world. Oh my God. The absolute best cast in the world. And I think it was necessary to write about it, because we don't talk honestly enough about the mess that dating and relationships are in 2021.
Right. And they are a mess.
A hot mess. It's a hot mess. I think it would save us all a lot of trouble if people could be honest.
Right.
The folks that I deal with, they know coming in the door, I'm like, look, I don't expect for you to just talk to me. I do expect for you to respect me. What you do when you're away from me is none of my business. Just respect me when you come over here. And a part of that is because I'm old. I don't got time for no games. I don't got time to be ghosting people. I'm gonna just shoot them,
Hey, that's what we need, more people straight to the point, right? Direct.
Okay.
Well, if you've seen Inside the Black Actor Studio, you know that we like to start off from the beginning. Where were you born?
China. No, I'm from DC, from Washington, DC.
DC. All right. Well, how was the family dynamics growing up in your household?
Oh, I'm gonna just get right to the point. It was horrible. Oh my God. But I always look for the positives. And real quick, I might be talking a little funny, y'all. It's because I got braces in my mouth. I'm vain. I got some white ones, and my teeth was jacked up. These ain't just braces. They had to build a fortress around these boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the comedian Sampson McCormick.
That's okay, because I think I'm gorgeous, but when these teeth get straight, I'm gonna be out here killing it.
You're gonna be snatched.
Okay. Oh, big time. I'm gonna hang some drapes up in there, put some carpet down. No, but so please excuse me, y'all. My mouth is on fire right now. But my family, we weren't close at all. So I will say, a lot of people say, well, that sounds traumatizing, that sounds depressing. And for me, it wasn't depressing. Of course, it was hard to deal with at the time. And sometimes if I'm too high, I think about it, I'm like, damn. But it taught me to value the people who do step into my life and show up in ways that many of us complain we don't have anybody there for us for.
Right.
And it also taught me I'm a lot more independent than I think I am, which
Okay.
which can be, it can be a double-edged sword.
Right. Right. In your family dynamics, do you feel like it helped your career, especially looking back on it now, that independent position that you're speaking of?
Uh, I think yes, because I made it. I made it work for me.
Yeah.
But I do think that having a very solid support system around you, and I think if I had it, I think I would be a lot further.
Right. No, I definitely agree with that. Did you have any nicknames growing up?
Um, yeah, you look just like your daddy. um, Dumb mother. No, I'm just playing. Sammy, and Wonji.
Wonji.
Yeah, Wonji. I
What's
had these
that
cheeks. I had these cheeks, and I don't know. People would call me Wonji.
one?
I don't know. I
That's a
don't
unique,
know.
that's a unique one right there.
Sam, Sammy, and Wonji.
The Wonji. Okay. I'm gonna start calling you Wonji now. So you had any siblings?
Yes, I have two brothers.
Okay.
Who one of them just texted me today. I'm the youngest, and I'm definitely the best looking one out of the three of us. How you doing?
Oh, all right. I'll take that one. So, going to school for you, did you go to school in DC?
Yes, I went to school in DC and I went to school in PG County, Maryland.
Okay, Maryland. All right, all right. So did you study acting or film when you went to like in high school or college? When did you start getting into or interested in that industry?
When I was in kindergarten.
Okay, yeah,
Uh, I come from the church.
yeah.
So the church is full of theatrics. So I've always been theatrical. You know, I would go to daycare and I would act like the pastor. I would preach sermons to the toddlers. I'd be like, when God gave you that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you know. Um, I used to do that at Isle of Patmos, which is I think it's like preschool or something like that. Then when I got into kindergarten, I wanted to sing. I heard opera and went crazy. I think it was just because of dramatic
Right.
singing. But me being a young Black boy in the hood, growing up, my mother thought that was the worst possible thing for me to do. Black parents, especially back then in the 80s, they did not embrace, especially boys, doing anything outside of the norm. You could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer,
Right.
football player, police officer, but to come home and say, "Mom, I want to be an artist," particularly a ballerina or a opera singer,
Right.
I got a beating as soon as my mother found out about that.
Right.
And the beating actually was so bad, and the anger, how angry my mother was so bad that I said, "Okay, well, let me start looking at other things," and that's how I got interested in acting.
Okay.
And then that turned into comedy because I've always been humorous. I've always been lighthearted. So
Right.
comedy was a clear shot.
Okay. And so when did you start, because you're a big activist for the LGBT community, and so when did you have those inklings or that you knew you were different, and how did that go with your family? I mean, obviously, I'm assuming it didn't go too well, but how did you excel and use that to grow instead of becoming a victim?
Um, Fuck that. I became a victim. I was like, I need to use this. No, I'm
Yeah,
just playing.
right.
I'm just playing. So I've always known. I knew when I was 4 that something was different. I remember being in class and saying to myself, something is different about me. Those were the exact words that I thought. there was this little white boy. I used to like white boys. There was this little white boy in my class named Richard. What's his name? Richard? His name was Richard. And I used to do his arts and crafts for him. So I used to make little bunny rabbits and stuff and give them to him. I always wanted to sleep next to him in class. And my teacher thought that that was weird. She said she told my mother he likes being with this one particular boy in class a little bit too much. So that was the first time I knew something was different.
Okay.
Then I really started to learn. I'm trying to give you when did I know? I knew in middle school when I was playing basketball and I like to see the boys in the locker room undress in front of me. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm a queen."
That'll do it. That'll do it. Okay. Well, you mentioned you've always been, funny. You always use comedy. There's a big thing where, like, Jim Carrey and Robin Williams and even Richard Pryor, that, this pain, and trauma, some of the most brilliant comedians have been through a lot of trauma and a lot of pain, and that's their way of coping. Did you feel like that was for you?
That I don't know. I think a lot of mine was just being blacker from the hood, and we didn't have toys, we didn't have money, so you need something. So
Right.
we were able to laugh. But I have had a very sad life, and I have endured a lot of sadness and a lot of betrayal from my parents and my family and lovers. And in order to not be so callous, I think you have to learn how to laugh at it.
Right, right. I definitely see that. Did you have any did you have any like shows or movies that when you were growing up that you just like automatically were like, this is amazing, and kind of made you even more want to pursue this career?
HBO Real Sex. No, it was I'm trying to think. I did used to sneak and watch that though, and Cinemax,
Right.
with and a nipple might come through the static, So I used to look at those, but I'm trying to think. Danny, I think we both grew up on In Living Color, Martin, Arsenio Hall,
Arsenio,
and a lot of these other Black movies that infused real life with humor. And so, again, it was seeing those and being able to just laugh at horrible things that were happening with other kids, that it's just in there. And a lot of those kids that I grew up with they're funny. They're still funny. They're on Instagram being funny. Yeah.
That's what's up. So when did you first get into acting? I want to talk about like when your first gig was or a play, and how did you feel after that?
My first acting gig was when I was 5 years old, and I had to get out of an ass whooping from my mama. That was my first acting gig.
Amen to that.
Okay. I think one of my first acting gigs was probably at church though, like in an Easter play or something like that.
Okay.
And then when I got into middle school, I started dabbling. But my issue, real quick, was I didn't have anybody who saw my talent and tried to help nourish that and cultivate it and push it. And, it was the people who were at home that saw that who were telling me nobody wanted to see it. So I really got a late start. Like I knew I was talented and we played, and whereas white kids, they can go to improv school. Black kids, we might do something like that in the front yard when we're playing, we're signifying with each other. So that's where I was able, a lot of Black people, we have very raw talent.
Right. Yeah.
So it was that I don't think I really got to an acting gig though. I mean, when I was in high school, we did do some acting, but I'm talking about where I was really able to focus on it without, a parent or somebody telling me I was an embarrassment for wanting to do it. Was when I graduated and I got to a play called The Anatomy of a Brother, which was about Black men and our mental, physical development.
Right. Okay. And then how was that for you, that whole experience after that?
It was freeing. It was freeing because I had an encounter with the ancestors. That was one. I was very silly. Make a long story short, and I remember the play really focused on where we come from slavery until 2003 or four, whenever we did it. So the guy who wrote it had kind of like a shrine in the theater devoted to Black history, Black men, Black excellence, and it showed, Uncle Remus and all these other Aunt Jemima and all these other Black folks who weren't educated, whatever,
Right.
whatever. And I thought it was funny because one of them had like a syrup bottle, like this show am good. And I was in there roasting those slaves. I was in there roasting the slaves. I was in there roasting all these Black, and I thought it was funny. And while I was working on this play, I'm not lying. I'm in bed, and these three large, I don't know what they were like large beings circled the bed, and they shook the bed and woke me up.
Wow.
And they basically told me it's not a game.
Mm.
They said we fought too hard for you to be here, for you to make fun out of us. And
Mm.
I started to get clarity around, for me being in this business, not just to be seen, but really to make a statement and to carry the torch for Black people, Black men in particular.
Right. Okay. Now I like that. I mean, wow, that had to be a really changing moment for you.
It was, because I I think there are people, of course, especially now with the internet, who get in show business because they want to be seen. They want
Right.
the
Right.
spotlight. They want but for me, it's about the art. And a lot of my experiences early on were, I'm too radical to be in anybody's church. I'm too free thinking. I'm too detached from what society tries to tell us what type of box we have to fit in. And then I'm not corrupt enough to be a politician.
Mm.
So show business media was the next best thing.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. I want to get into the first time you stood on stage for stand-up comedy.
Oh, that's easy. When I was in fifth grade at Concord Elementary School, I had this teacher named Miss Lynn, who took me over to Mr. Mumford's class. I forgot what happened, but all of our classes got together. I don't know if you went to public school, but they used to put 50 kids in class.
Right.
So they put both our classes together. And for some reason, Mr. Mumford said, I want you to go up in front of the class and make them laugh. And I
Mm.
did my first like 5 or 7 minutes. No, I take that back. It was Miss Walters who used to let me do it. But as far as like comedy performing, was in fifth grade. Mr. Mumford told me to stand in front of the class, make them laugh, and I did. And I was like, I like this.
Mm. That's wow. So fast forward to your first stand-up gig that you were, professionally paid for. Where was that, and how did you think it went?
Oh, it was horrible, and it was it was awful, and it was at Teddy's House of Comedy in DC, back in the very early 2000s, like 2001, and it was a Def Jam comedy club.
Mm.
So I was still in high school. I would go every Wednesday. I would sneak out of the house and go, and I wasn't supposed to be in there, but as long as I was funny, they let me come. Because the lady, she said, you too young to be in here. She
Right.
said, I'm gonna ask you, how old are you? And I said, oh, 15. She was like, I'm gonna ask you again. How old are you? And I was like, 18. She was like, very good. And they used to let me come in, they would let me drink. I would perform. And then, if some cops or something came in, they would sneak me out the back door. But that was fun.
Wow. And
That
so
was fun.
so it went horrible. You didn't get the response from the audience you wanted.
Oh, the very first time. The very first time was so bad.
Yeah.
And then it was real bad. Bad. Like it was death. Death. Okay. So it was that. And then I left the club and I got robbed on the way home.
Oh wow.
And that was by one of the audience members. No, I'm just playing. It was like, don't you ever waste my time like that again. No, it was I was coming home from, because I was dressed all up and stuff, because I thought that when I went to the club, I had on like a Jordan jersey, and K-Swiss were in style back then.
Oh, K-Swiss.
I had on some black K-Swiss, and I had like these black military pants on. I was looking real good because I just knew that I was going to go down to this comedy club and somebody was going to see me and I was going to be on TV the next day. So I went down there dressed like it. And and they saw me coming home dressed all up, and they stole a Jordan. They stole a Jordan jersey. They took the shoes.
Oh my God.
They took my cell phone. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow. So as a Black gay man comedian, what were some of the struggles that you ran into along the way? Did you find it different than being, say for instance, a straight gay or a straight male, Black male in the same atmosphere? What are some of the struggles that you encountered?
Not being booked, audiences a lot harsher than they are to other comedians. Violence, threats.
Wow.
It was hard. It was most of it though was lack of readily available opportunity. Gotcha. It was lack of readily, because at the time when I started it, there were no Black gay stand-up comedians.
Right.
So, and there still aren't many, but I was definitely one of the very first. And I was definitely one of the very first to make people look at us in comedy and go, okay, where are the rest of them? Why don't we have more queer comedians? There was that. So when you are a trailblazer, when you are a pioneer, which I am, number one, you don't get a lot of credit. You don't get the credit that you are due for the work that you've done.
Right.
Because a lot of time has passed. I mean, now straight people have pride parades now because everybody gay now. So it's, it's not really, it's not special, even though we're still not on television. It's not as much of a big deal to have a Black gay man going to these different cities around the country where black people aren't welcome, where gay people aren't welcome, and get standing ovations.
Right.
Sell out shows. Go to clubs where they only let us perform once a year and sell out all weekend. I definitely played a huge part in this, because I acted, I'm not really, acting is not, I have friends who wake up with a resume and a headshot like I need an audition. I am a comedian and I am a creative person. So comedy is what I wake up thinking about. And for me, it was just, we weren't welcome. Like people weren't booking us. We weren't at the clubs. And so what I did was, and I didn't know it was happening while I was doing it. It was a lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun, because everybody on the internet is gay. Gay men, we love attention. So it's like, this one over here got a wig on, and because he's cute and light skinned and jumping out of windows, he got 1 million followers.
Right.
So it's, the way people look at it is different, but nothing, and absolutely nothing, Danny, will beat being able to stand up in front of an audience who does not know you and sell your point of view to them and make them love it. Right.
Yeah, that it's a feeling unlike none other. It's like, when I go up and I do theater, it's the same. It's just like, it's crazy playing off the audience and just being present. And I remember I saw you posted not too long ago. There's this photo of you in the Midwest and a sea of white people. And you said you got a standing ovation and all that. And it's incredible that can happen, especially now. Where were some of the comedians that you looked up to? I know you had posted about Miles Mabley not too long ago. Who else was kind of like, your inspiration to keep going?
Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers, hands down, is my favorite comedian, because she, just like me, we've always kind of like been underdogs.
Right,
But
right.
the beautiful thing is we're just as talented, just as strong, whatever, as everybody else. But because of how we show up, or because we don't have this or that, people count us out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just gotta come through and hit them hard. And it's like
Right.
you never get to not be great, because I mean it's just like you have to be. And
Yeah.
so Joan Rivers, her husband, he committed suicide. She got fired and she lost all her gigs. Nobody would hire her. She had to start over again.
Right.
And I relate to that. It's like doing everything. And even when you've done everything, you still got to do some more.
Right. Yeah.
So Joan Rivers, hands down. But as far as Black comedians, which is what I study and appreciate, it's Moms Mabley, it's Richard
Yeah.
Pryor. I don't care what they say about him. It was horrible what they say he did. I don't know. Bill Cosby,
Right.
um, Dick Gregory, and
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay. No, all incredible people, incredible talent. So
And I can brag too. I've been lucky enough to work with and meet all of them.
no, that's what I was gonna ask you. You beat me to the punch. I was gonna ask who is your favorite person to work with that you
Monique.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Monique. And I've known Monique like since the Parkers.
Uh-huh.
It really made me upset how people treated her.
Yeah.
She didn't deserve that, but it was also because she's a fat Black woman, fat brown skinned Black woman. And when if say Beyonce would have said the same thing she said, even telling whoever to suck her off, whatever, people would have been like, that's right, yes, go in.
Right. Yeah.
If Halle Berry would have said it, it would have
Yeah.
been cool. But Monique says that, Viola Davis says that, they tell them to shut up.
Right.
They tell us, if you're darker skinned or gay or something, they tell you, well, just keep working hard.
Right. Yeah.
So it was, Monique was great because, I don't know, maybe it was because of what she went through and she practices what she preaches. So when she talks about money inequity in the business, she was one of the first comedians who knew that I was gay. Because I mean, again, nobody was Black and gay on the circuit. And she said, baby, you need to be with me. She was like, I wanna put you out on stage. And she did, and she protected me, and she made sure I got paid.
Wow. That's
And
incredible.
protected me from homophobic audiences.
There you go. Yeah, I know that you definitely need to protect it in that sense. Wow, that's incredible. So speaking of getting treated horribly, you just recently went online. You let it all out. You're the executive producer of B-Boy Blues, which had Jussie Smollett attached and all that. So you recently
You
talked
said
about
he got attacked?
no attached.
Okay.
Jussie Smollett attached to the movie. And you recently came on and talked about your experience there. We're not going to go through the whole experience and what happened and things like that, but I want you to pretty much tell us, what did you learn? What did you learn after this whole incident? And moving forward, what would you do?
Oh, Lord have mercy. So that whole situation with Jussie, and James Earl Hardy, who is the
Mm-hmm.
writer of the story B-Boy Blues, was sad because I know both of them, and I'm from the East Coast. I'm not one of these Hollywood people. If I'm down with you, I'm down with you.
Right.
I don't need the clout because I am the clout. Okay.
Come on.
So when I went to set, first of all, they lied because I brought him onto the project. Okay. And a part of the incentive of me being the executive producer of this movie was that I would reprise the role that I had played in the stage play.
Right.
Okay. And so I don't know, Danny, if you're supposed to have a role and you bring a friend on who he needed to work.
Right.
What happened in Chicago, whatever. I mean, when that happened, I spoke up for him, even though that wasn't a popular stance. I don't care what happened in Chicago. That's not my business. When I spoke up for him as a friend, I meant that. So that doesn't change.
Right.
Plus, I said, I don't know. I believe they did beat him up because when he was messing with me on set, I wanted to beat his ass. So he left set to go get a sandwich. I was going to go follow his ass and drag him down the street.
You stupid. You're wrong.
So I think they did beat him up. But to get back to the point, so if you bring a friend onto a project, especially a think about it, this is not just some random project. This is B-Boy Blues.
Yeah.
This is iconic.
Right.
You hook a friend up, if they have the power to make sure that you get your gig, don't you think if you help them, they're supposed to help you?
Yes. Yeah.
So I was upset about that because I got to New York, and after studying for this role to bring it from theater down to film, I get to New York and he calls me and he goes, "Oh, so we gave your role to somebody else." I heard them ass whooping alarms going off. It was just ass whooping. No.
Right.
So I was upset at him, as a friend, even if he didn't have anything to do with that, which I don't know, you're the biggest name on the project.
Right.
What you say goes.
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah.
The author also knew that and I have text messages to back everything up. Text messages, videos, emails. I have receipts on top of receipts. Let's do some tax returns. Okay. Even the author should go, I did promise him that role if he helped me finance this movie. Let me honor it. So for me, it was not only did they not honor their word, but I also showed up to set and they treated me like garbage.
Mm.
And in 2 decades in this business, dealing with blatant racism on set, and I know you've dealt with blatant racism, when, and if you have white friends and y'all kind of are looking at a project together and you say, okay, well, you send your stuff, I'm gonna send my stuff, and let's just see how we're treated. You see it. When you walk onto a set, especially if you're here in LA, or, you go to Long Beach or one of these other places and you're the only Black person on set, you hear the stuff they say. You know how they treat you. And it's like you have to grin and bear it. Also being, again, an openly gay Black person, you have to, especially when I used to work like BET, they're a lot better now. But BET or one of these other, Roland Martin, who's another, he's a jackass. I went to his show and they were horrible on that show. You deal with their blatant racism and homophobia.
Right.
What makes this even worse is that these are people who've been in the trenches with you. I knew Jesse before he got famous. James, nobody was talking about James.
Right.
And now your book is going back to #1. Jesse would get his career back. What's wrong with me? Because I'd have killed the role, and that would have brought people back to my show. I mean, people come to my shows, but it would have introduced a new audience to my shows.
Of course.
So it's a lot that I'm fired up about that.
As you should be. As you should be.
Mm-hmm.
What's one lesson walking away from that?
That when you feel the inclination to beat a bitch ass, don't wait. Do it then.
High five through the camera.
Do it then. No, really honestly, I think that the biggest lesson for me, 2 lessons. #1 is, even if you're dealing with your friends, do paperwork, because
right.
I usually go into situations like that and I go, this is what we're doing. And I usually would have been like, this is the role because I did paperwork about executive producer. That was done. Right. And I figured that because we had been talking about it so long, the rest of it, but I should have reissued another contract and said, we're agreeing again that I'm executive producer and I'm also playing this role. If I don't get this role, you owe me $7,500. I usually do stuff like that.
Right.
Just like if I'm booked for a gig and they don't pay me on time, there's a clause that says if I don't get my payment within 7 days after the performance, it's an additional $500.
Okay.
I do stuff like that. So that was the first lesson. And the second lesson was you don't have to be a team player all the time. In this business, a lot of us get taken advantage of because they tell you don't be difficult. They
Right.
tell you don't fight, don't make noise. But that's another reason I'm in this situation is because when they told me I didn't have a role, I went, oh, okay. And I'm telling myself, you got to be a team player. This is about something bigger than you. And I really should have got on that phone. Even though I had gone back and forth, it was still very polite. I really should have got on that phone and been like, God damn it, I don't know what y'all better do, what y'all gonna do, but y'all better write a role for that motherfucking give me my role back because I've been promised this role for 4 years, really since 2013. Then we started talking about the film about 4 years ago, and then I started working on it starting January of 2018 or 2019, one of those. I have it in my text messages. And so I should have been digging in everybody's ass.
Right.
But they tell us, no, don't do that in this business. Be humble. Part of being humble means being taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. Part of being humble sometimes means not getting things that you rightfully deserve.
Right.
And that was a role that I rightfully deserved. That was mine.
Right. I feel that. Well, I must say you have an amazing career and you got a lot more coming your way and greater than that role. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk shortly just a little bit about the Love the One You're With, which I had an amazing opportunity to work with you. It's an incredible film. Just tell us, the viewers, what to look forward to that film. It was out, like you said, a very soft opening. And what can we look forward to seeing in that film?
So it's a very soft launch. I think people more than anything can be excited about a film that's written in honesty and passion that will keep your attention from the very beginning. There's something very gripping about Love the One You're With. There's something almost spellbinding about Love the One You're With. And I think that everybody who's in that film embodied that character that they were playing.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the passion you just heard on the wall.
You're just coming all over the place.
It's all over the place. So I honestly do believe that it will be one of the best Black queer films of 2021. I honestly believe that, and I'm not one of these cocky people who walk around talking about my work, but my commitment to our stories as Black queer people and Black people and telling good stories that are worth you sitting down, spending an hour of your time looking at. So much passion and discipline went into that, and technique from the actors. I think everybody bought what they knew and learned some stuff. All of that is in this film, and it's a story that you don't see on screen a lot. So people are gonna love it.
Yes, sir. All right. And anything else coming up that we can look out for you? You have any other works in the making, or when are you gonna start touring it? I know with COVID everything's crazy, but are you doing like online, virtual sets or anything like that?
I'm doing little stuff online. I am going to be in DC June 11th and 12th, and I'm actually going to be in Burbank doing a show outside this Saturday. Nice. It's going to be a social distance show. Yeah, I've done some stuff since COVID live, but those, and then I'll be in North Carolina in June too. I think Oslo, North Carolina. And Atlanta in August. So I got some stuff coming up, and then so I got that, and then I have a brand new comedy special out on YouTube which could easily be on Netflix, but I felt generous, so we put it on YouTube. Called Church Boy. It's really good.
Okay, Church Boy. Yeah, we'll look into that. And what's that about?
Church Boy is my 5th recorded stand-up special. We recorded it in DC at the DC Comedy Loft. And it's just a good old-fashioned night of comedy, like solid jokes, a solid performance. I didn't really do it for any reason other than I just wanted to record a very solid comedy performance. It had been 8 years since I did the last one, and people kept asking for it. So I gave it to them, baby.
There you go. Yeah, and you do it, and you have a loyal, fan base. So it's always keeping them abreast to what's going on. And like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to be here. And before we end the interview, those of you that know my show, we have a fast question segment that's coming up. So basically, I'm going to ask you a set of questions. You give me the first response that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
All right. What's your favorite word?
My favorite word. That's hard. See, it's a bunch of them. Which one? My favorite word is probably, I have mantras. Determined.
Determined. Okay, that's a good word.
If you'd have said quote, that would have been easier. Determined. Yeah.
What's your least favorite word?
Can't.
What's something that turns you on?
Feistiness.
Nice. What's something that turns you off?
Indecisiveness and feeling sorry. Seeing people feel sorry for themselves.
Okay. What's a sound or noise that you love?
Nature. Either nature or laughter.
Nature or laughter. Okay. What's a sound or noise that you hate?
Gum popping. I hate that sound. When people pop on gum, oh my, I'd be ready to shoot them.
What's your favorite cuss word?
Motherfucker.
What profession other than your own would you love to participate in?
Teacher or veterinarian.
Okay. And what profession would you absolutely not want to participate?
Police officer.
What's one demon in the industry that you have faced and beaten?
Imposter syndrome.
That was a good one. All right, last but not least, heaven exists. You get up to heaven. What would you like to hear God say to you? Oh, I can't wait to hear this one.
Can you rinse your mouth out before you put your ass in the water?
Yes. Perfect. Oh my God, great way to end now. Well, Sam, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure speaking to you and having you on the show, opening up season 3.
A great season 3 ahead.
Yes, indeed. And can you go ahead and let everyone know where to find you and how to keep up with
you? You can find me on OnlyFans. I'm just playing. You can find me on Instagram. It's just my name, Sampson McCormick, SampsonMcCormick. On YouTube, if you look up Sampson McCormick, I have some incredible content on there, comedy, films, all sorts of stuff. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. All right. And folks, you can find me everywhere at I am Danny Royce. And please tune in next week, same place, same time. Thank you so much, Sampson, again, for being here. Best wishes to you. We will definitely be in touch, and keep a lookout for Love the One You're With coming out and also his comedy special, Church Boy. Got a lot of stuff coming ahead. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time on Inside the Black Actor Studio. Bye, guys.